Hello, everyone. Uh, yeah, it's American Granny here, and I got another question. Um, what I would like to know is why aren't we, the people, the Americans, setting the parameters that all of our houses and representatives should adhere to? Now, we used to, in the old days, have laws that regulated not only could they face treason, which was a death penalty, by the way, they could also face imprisonment in places like Gitmo, not the federal cushy pens that they are so accustomed to going to. It used to be a horrible thing to be thought of as a senator or a representative that had betrayed the country. Now, I don't care what your argument is. If you're an American born citizen, it's your country. If you are an American immigrant who came to this country legally and worked very hard to become a citizen, I admire and respect you and welcome. And you are not an American immigrant, you are an American. Once you took that oath, and every American needs to be protecting you and themselves from what we see happening in our country. Democrats and liberals have turned our country into an unsafe place if you are an American, unless you believe in radical behavior acceptance. And that's what I don't agree with. You want to take my parental rights away. You want to put drugs into my children that are not only proven to be harmful, but sterilizing. Why are Americans being sterilized? Why are Americans being targeted? Because you have listened to the Democrat Party tell you for how long that your vote didn't matter. Your vote in your community didn't matter. But yet, when you saw illegal aliens voting in your community and the changes that were happening, did you stand up and go protest yourself? No. You sat at home on your tuchus when you should have been out saying, no more, no more. Americans, we have rights. We need to stand for those rights. And we can only do that when we're united. And I don't care what your gender is. I don't care what your religion is. I only care about the rights of Americans to be treated fairly with decency and respect. For all that we have given, we deserve our dignity. We deserve our freedom. And I'm tired of watching political parties destroy them. It's not just one party. Republicans have gone along with this for the last 25, 30 years. So it's not just one party. It's all Americans need to recognize that we have to restructure our politicians' power over us. That's what it says. That apparently we need new legislation restricting judges and representatives, all the way up to senators, from abusing their right for power. Americans deserve our dignity. We've worked hard. We've put up with all kinds of things most people would never accept, most countries would never accept. You want diversity? We're in America. We have always had diversity. And you don't have to approve and you don't have to agree. But you do have to treat each other with dignity and respect. You go into a business, you do not steal, you do not harm that person. That is not the American way. The American way is you walk into a store, you see someone robbing it, and you get a hold of the police, or you find a way to intervene by setting off some kind of alarm, by helping your neighbor. That is the American way. Americans are good, hardworking people, and I'm tired of the criticism of Americans that I see happening almost daily. And it's not about our color. Americans are, we have a population from around the world that are citizens. They're Americans. And yet we scream, they have no rights, they have no freedom. What? Yes, we do. And we have got to be standing force that says no more to protests like we're seeing Antifa, like we're seeing against ICE. You need to have your protections in place. And right now, our government is trying to give us at least a foot up. That's what it's trying to do. So we can take back control. And how do you do that? You clean up voting in your area. You get rid of politicians by demanding they resign. And you can do it through your own legislation in every single state. It takes petitions. If you think Antifa is willing to go to any extreme to harm Americans, then what should you be doing? Should you be out there throwing bombs? No, that's not the American way. That is cartel way. That is guerrilla tactics. That is warfare. So how do Americans fight back? We take back our streets. We begin by building our communities again. We begin by getting to know your neighbor. Do you know your neighbor? Now, I live out in the country. I know my neighbors. Do you know your neighbors? Because I'll bet if you're living in a suburb or a city, most likely your neighbors change every 3 to 6 months, depending on who could afford the rent that month. So you don't get to anybody. How are you supposed to protect yourself and your community? How are you supposed to protect your children? There's an old boomer, and you can call me, oh, you're old-fashioned, you're old. No, I'm smart. Why? Because I grew up with all of this. It's not new. It's just heavier funding has come into the game, and now it's gone violent. You want your neighborhoods back. Patrol them yourself. And for all you out there screaming, we don't need the police, while dialing 911, they should not show up for you. If you have ever said defund the police, I am scared to death of what the police have become. But that is not helping making my neighborhoods safer by defunding them. Restructuring them would definitely make them safer. And it wouldn't be so hard because my police officers wouldn't be in constant danger of their lives. Just imagine a world where you could walk past an officer and say hello, and he just says hello and gives you a polite nod. I lived in that world. I have. It's the reality. Why? Because people were taught back then to respect each other. Before the lockdown, everyone was going off the deep end because government had consumed us. Because government had made Americans nothing. And now they're clinging to Native Americans. Why? Because their infrastructure that was holding Americans back is crumbling. Because we're saying enough. So if you want to see some change, stop all the segregation. I'm not saying go into Native American lands and steal it again. No. I'm asking them, open your lands to Americans. But I'm telling you, Americans, it can't be these horrible we see Antifa funding. Why? Because Native Americans have the highest crime rates in the country and most abductions of women and small children come across American, Native American lands. And they're Native American people, and they are being enslaved. And without Americans' help against it, how are we supposed to stop it? That's the question I want to ask Americans and Native Americans. As long as my generations have been here, hundreds of years, when do I get to become a native to my own country? When? I ask you, when? I have a right to know. I don't have to have Indian heritage to be a Native American. I have to have American heritage, and I got plenty of it. And so do many millions of Americans. If you see someone starting a fire, it's your responsibility to go out and stop them. It's your responsibility. And if the police catch them and let them go, it's your responsibility to be the first to file the lawsuit for a violation of your civil rights by having a dangerous person released back into your community. Americans, you have rights. You just don't know what they are. Why? Because they've been twisted thing between Democrats and liberals and Republicans, all tugging a war at each other. Thank you for subscribing. It means a great deal. Why not? I'm just going to say Joseph because I'll probably get winded trying to say this part. Thank you for subscribing. We are an American people that is unique. We are unique around the world. And if you haven't seen that by what's on all the world news, we are different. Let's continue the difference. And there is a way to do it. And all these rich people influencing everything, we can stop it. It just takes laws. Legislation brought up on behalf of the American people against the corruption of our own government. Trump is making himself a bazillionaire off of lawsuits. And guess what? Right now, pro bono lawyers for constitutional rights are everywhere. They're the new ambulance chasers. And that's true. If you can prove your claim, or even get enough people to come and sign your petition, those lawyers, they'll jump on it like frosting on cake. Yeah, they would. Why? Why not? It's a money bucket. It's a money bucket. We're a capitalist nation, they say. Well, take the opportunities. If you can't work, sue your local government for not allowing businesses to open their doors. Californians need to be suing all their government officials for that very thing. Guess how many Americans would be working? And I'm not talking influencers. I'm talking about people who have hands-on jobs that are making good pay and are getting benefits that we deserve. But if we don't go after our own government and start suing them, we can't stop it. Voter violations, you name it. There is an American injustice in your state that you can rebel against. And if the crowdsourcing wants to keep paying out so much money for people who are going to be violent against you, contact these companies and say, hey, how come you don't hire people who do peaceful protests? Why don't you hire Americans who are against this violence to come out and protest? And a lot of Americans need jobs. And we would love to stand out there holding up a sign saying, we deserve dignity and respect the American way. We deserve dignity and respect. That's the American way. And you start getting those kind of protests out there. These Antifa-funded garbage that is nothing but aggressive guerrilla attacks against governments, well, they're going to be gone. So take back your governments. Here's your opportunity. Don't pass it up. Please. I love my country. I love it. 61 years of high hopes, a little bit of progress, and then a lot of backtracking. Now we've backtracked far enough. We're seeing innocent people being shot in their places of worship, and I don't care where it's at. I don't care what religion. I don't subscribe to any. I don't need anybody to be my middleman or tell me what God wants me to do in my life. God tells me directly. I pray directly to God. No middleman, not necessary. But I do believe in God because I've been dead long enough to know. Let's just leave it at that. God is real. And you're part of it. But attacks on any religious institution in the United States is forbidden under law. It's a terrorist act, and it has been since, what, the 1960s, 1970s, they improved it. 1980s, they improved it again. Terrorist activity from Americans will never be accepted. It is not the right of every American to become a terrorist against Americans. That is not your right. And if you are pushing that right and saying, I don't have a right to defend myself from whatever aggression you're coming at me with, you're going to find out I'm an American, first and foremost. And I will, at 61 years old, I may fail, but I will put you on your tuchus. Why? Because I was taught that you show respect for other people, not just an age group, people. And you do that by respecting their boundaries, by agreeing that when you are in public, you are to behave like you're in public. You're not allowed to force everything down everybody else's throat. You got a beef, you protest to your government, not to your citizens. You don't attack your fellow citizens. That divides. That's DEI. And exclusion, trans, you want to know why you failed? You were the biggest bigots of every American in this country for not thinking that it was okay for you to go into a child's restroom or behave like an infidel in public. Yes, I said it. That is an ugly word, isn't it? But you're not proud of being trans when you're attacking everyone who says, who cares? Or who says, well, that's fine, but go through the process, carry an ID with the little star on it or whatever that says you're trans. Well, I'll make the stores put in bathrooms just for you. It's not about that. It's about everyone facing equality instead of exclusion. I don't care your skin color. I don't care. We all have a certain amount of equal rights. And saying I'm not a woman, calling me a sis, I am not your sister. I'm sorry, I have sisters. And all of them were born as females. There are two genders. That's it. No argument. You trans, you chose to change your gender. And you went through the whole process. You should be treated with respect, Do you belong in a public bathroom that is designated for women? No. No, you don't belong in a men's bathroom either. You've now changed your physical being and made yourself subject to horrible things. So now you need a bathroom all to yourself. And you know what? Walmart better damn well build one. And no woman and no man should be allowed to go into that transgender bathroom. How's that? Everybody gets equal. But you don't want that. You want the hatred. You want to spew all the anger and rage. That doesn't say that you believe in what you're saying. That's saying you actually don't. That's saying you don't believe you are actually a woman or a man in the wrong body. That says you will bend to my will or I will attack you violently. That's all. If you don't like that, Americans are against that kind of behavior, go to other countries. See if they will accept it. If you hate America so much, leave. I'm begging you to leave. Our government should offer you a one-way ticket out. If you say you hate my country, my government should give you a one-way ticket out, especially if you're an American. You really want to leave? You hate the country so bad? Here's your $1,000. Where you want to go? Offer it to Americans who hate America. Get them out of our country. Let them leave. Watch the violence subside. Watch the powers of the cartel fall apart and crumble. Why? Because Americans are saying, no more. You uphold our American rights. You stand for our America, or you leave. It's your choice. It's not about illegal aliens. You don't want to be in my country? You think it's a horrible, horrible place? Pick another country. Trump should offer you the same offer he's giving every illegal alien that self-deports. A free trip to wherever with $1,000 to get you started. Good luck. And anyone who is preaching for any Islam in my country better recognize that this is one religion Americans will not tolerate. I'm not going to go say bomb your mosques. Absolutely not. I am not you. But I can influence my laws in my country to ban you from being in my country. Because you are a violent religion. In America, we don't have any place for violent. No more. No. Go back to your Arab nations. Go back to your Uganda. Go back to Africa. Go back to wherever. But get out of my country if you are a radicalist or a violent Islamic Muslim. 61 years of dealing with that garbage has given me an express view on it. If you are a Muslim who comes into this country and you do not assimilate and accept other religions, you have no right to operate within my country. None. If you cannot accept your Christian or Catholic neighbor, you do not belong in my country. And if those neighbors can't accept you, they don't belong here either. How's that for a reality check? It's not about just you. Being an American makes you an individualist already. You don't need all of the glitz and glamour and looking like some Hollywood freak with nails that are 10 foot long and eyelashes that you can't tell what color your eyes are. You can't even see your face. Why is that attractive? What is attractive about looking like an insect to a human being? Why do you think That's going to get you the man, or that's going to get you the woman. I support a lot of cross-dressers, homosexual men. I want you to know that. And some of them have the greatest channels. And they get hit hard by the LGBTQ community. And let me tell you something, there is no Q. It's LGBT. There's no reason for Q. Queer means the same word as homosexual. Homosexual means the same as two other words, lesbian and gay. No Q. And plus is pedophiles, predators, who believe that raping children and adults should be free and they should be allowed to do it. No, I don't support that. And as long as you hold on to that model of protecting pedophiles and rapists, I'm going to do everything I personally can to see you get kicked out of the country, to get you seen as a terrorist organization, because that's exactly what you are. Your books don't belong in my children's school, only ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, and science in my children's schools. That's it. You want to throw a little patriotism in there and have them take the oath of an American every day in school? I don't care. Go for it. I would prefer you do. Because I'm tired of patriots being rejected. While you take my money. How is that fair? You take my money and then you attack me. There's no fairness there. There's no equality in this. There's exclusion, bigotry, hatred, and I'm tired of it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Our country deserves better. Now, I have said so many times, I don't care where you come from. If you're an American and you have assimilated into American society and still manage to hold on to your older traditions, I can respect that. Why? I'm an American. But what I cannot accept is holding on to radicalized belief systems and worship. I will not support that. And if you're of a religion that does that, then you need to be shut down. And when I saw that the Catholics who had preached told me what an evil child I was for the things I did, and that God could never forgive me, standing at a pulpit with rainbow-colored hair, screaming that sodomy of children should be allowed. Are you kidding me? I grew up in this country. I went to those churches, and that was not what they were preaching. Now I have no respect for the Catholic Church, and neither does most of its congregations. And people have been fleeing Christianity. Why? Well, they do some things they shouldn't, just like everybody else. That's why I don't have any religion. If you're going to scream at me, God can never forgive me, I'm going to call you a liar to your face. I'm sorry. That's how I'm made. And I've insulted many, many ministers, priests, and even a rabbi or two. Why? Because I will not adhere. I'm an American. I have my own faith and belief and heritage. And that's what I have based the rules I live by on. And you want to call them conservative? So, showing respect to someone that's not conservative is human rights. Showing respect to a vendor when you go in to an establishment That's that is not conservative. It's called equal rights. And that's what we have got to get to. We have got to get to equal rights. You want to squabble over the process? Squabble over the process. Our government does a great job of that and gets nothing achieved. How about we change our own communities and put up an American flag at every business? Make every business stand for the American people, who is their biggest customer base, not the illegal aliens. The illegal aliens are slaves, and they fund cartels to come into this country to be your slave. That is not the American way. And the only way to stop it is to stop illegal aliens from entering the country illegally. They are not immigrants, not one of them. If they pay a mule, I don't call them coyotes. I'm not going to insult a coyote. But I will tell you right now, they are nothing but pack mules, carting those people up to the borders. And they're not promising them anything. Most of those people were captured and taken into slavery. You have to do this or we're going to kill you. That's slavery. And I want it stopped in my country. It doesn't belong in my country. Slavery does not belong in America. And child slavery by our senators, our governors, and other representatives like mayors that say, no, we need child slavery. We have laws against this, and there's a reason for it, and they need to be upheld and enforced. I've been told I'm a conservative. I am not. I'm not a conservative. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm an American. And that's it. Not a white American. Not Asian American. Not a Viking American. Just a plain old American. And I like it that way. I like that I have my American privileges. I have worked my whole life for those privileges. And so has every American alive today. Stop being ashamed of being an American and start showing your country has a lot to offer you before it will offer it to criminals. And that's Granny's rant for the day. Sorry. I guess, what do they call that? I'm hangry. I'm hangry. I haven't eaten yet, and it's definitely time for my meds. But I've had a really good day today. And I wanted to share some of that with you because my mind was clearer and I could think. And my chest isn't going crazy because of what I'm talking about. I accept my fate. If the medications can no longer help me, I will talk to my husband about hospice. I would love to give my husband a lot of money when I die so that he don't have to continue working his whole life, but he could have a savings and a future to live off once I'm gone. I want that more than anything. I can accept my fate. When it comes your time, can you? When it comes your time, I'm sharing my last days with everyone I can, especially here in America. And you know what? In England, I watch a lot of your stuff too. I'm glad you're fighting back. You're an inspiration to every American, as you should be. Keep the fight up. Put the Muslims back out of power. Get your country back. Use the tools given to you. Make your king and your queen hear you before anyone else. And God bless America, and God bless all humanity. American Granny out.